Welcome everybody to Saturday Morning Yoga with David. You can see I'm already down on my mat. It's where we're going to start today. If you have a mat, great. If you don't, find some kind of cushion, padding. Like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of our routine down on the mat, the floor. You can use a towel or any kind of blanket, anything that works for your knees, the grass, the beach, whatever you find comfortable. We're going to be doing some back bending today. I encourage everybody to be very, very gentle, very careful. I'll talk you through it as we go along. And we're going to start in child's pose, balasana in Sanskrit. In balasana, you want to have your knees comfortably wide. And it's kind of personal preference. You want to use your hands for support. Allow your tailbone to sit back towards your heels, and you bring your head down to your mat. You'll see people quite often have their arms extended long. That's actually Utthita Balasana, extended child's pose. And you can have your hands a little closer for support. You can have your hands back along your side. It's really personal preference. Settle in here and bring your awareness to your breathing right now. Your breath is really an indicator of how you feel mentally, physically, emotionally. You'll hear when people are under trauma that there's shortness of breath. It's said that human beings aren't really very efficient breathers. And we need to give our body the greatest opportunity to extract all the oxygen from our breath. And in yoga, you do that by keeping your lips sealed, your teeth separated, and breathe deeply and rhythmically in and out your nose. In Sanskrit, prana is energy, pranayama is breath. As you breathe rhythmically and deeply in and out your nose, you're breathing
Ujjayi pranayama, an energizing breath. Here in child's pose, it's a little bit of an echo chamber. You should be able to easily hear your breathing. The philosophy is you bring in energy with your deep rhythmic breathing, Ujjayi pranayama, and you lock that energy in with bandhas, your core. So as you remain here in Balasana, breathing Ujjayi pranayama, engage your abdominal muscles and you find Uddiyana Bandha. Pull up your pelvic floor, engage your glute muscles a little bit. That root lock is Mula Bandha. Just practice breathing deeply and rhythmically with bandhas locked in Balasana. You're practicing yoga. Start to work your way up and out of child's pose. Have your knees about hip distance apart, feet hip distance apart. Come forward with your hands under your shoulders, flat from the top of your head to your knees in this kneeling plank. Practice breathing deeply and rhythmically, Ujjayi pranayama, with your core engaged. Start to flow. Exhale as you sit back into a shallow child's pose. Inhale as you come forward to that kneeling plank. As you synchronize with your breathing, you're practicing a style of yoga called vinyasa. This movement with breath is synchronized with your breathing. Yoga is a strange fitness class in that we all don't necessarily move in unison. If you want to add on to this flow, this kneeling plank, just exhale as you bend your elbows. Inhale, back up. Exhale, back to a shallow child's pose. One movement, one breath, pace of your breathing. That pace is the most beneficial pace for you. Have the confidence to move independent of me, the rest of the class, if you're ever in a yoga studio. Want to know what that pace is. Concentrate. And breathing deeply, rhythmically, in and out your nose, synchronizing your movement. Do one more in each direction. Reset. Tabletop on all fours. You have your hands under your shoulders, knees hip distance apart. Bring your gaze forward. Tip your tailbone up. Put a sway in your back. This is classically called a cow pose. It's really a modification for upward facing dog. Hold and breathe. Even with a sway in your back, you can keep those bandhas engaged. You're breathing deep and rhythmic. And a counter pose called Angry Cat. Push your spine into your shirt. Put a big arch in your back. There's another bandha actually If you tuck your chin, look towards your belly button. It's Jalandhara. If you have Jalandhara, Uddiyana, and Mula Bandha all engaged, it's the Mahabandha. As much integrity in this pose as you can have. This is a modification to downward facing dog. Begin to flow. Bring your gaze forward on an inhale, tipping up your tailbone. And exhale. Put an arch in your back. Synchronize with the pace of your breathing. You find the range that's right for you. You're unique, like everybody else. Everybody's range is different. There is no perfect pose. It's what's optimum for you. The optimum pace is the pace of your breathing. The optimum range is where you feel these points of resistance, the edge, if you will. Those points of resistance are important. It's where you find your greatest gain, your greatest benefit. So instead of looking at others, looking at pictures, thinking of the perfect pose, feel what your body's telling you. Listen to it. Do one more in each direction. Reset and tabletop. Engage those bandhas, make sure your core is locked. And then inhale, reach this right hand. You can counterbalance by extending the left leg straight back, bent at the ankle like you're standing on the wall behind you. Hips are level, floating over the mat. Need to take a break, you can. Need to modify with the knee down or the hand down, do that. Remember, your body is stronger than your mind. Concentrate on the fundamentals. Deep rhythmic breathing. Bandha's locked. Exhale as you reset. Tabletop. Explore the other side. Left arm reaches, counterbalance with the right leg straight back. Bent at the heel, bent at the ankle like you're standing on the wall behind you. Explore the core. Turn on as many muscles in your core as you can. So breathe as rhythmically as possible, in and out your nose. Reset and tabletop. Begin to flow side to side. You inhale as you reach one side. Exhale as you reset and tabletop. Inhale, go to the other side. Modify if you need to. You can keep hands down, just extend legs. Keep knees down, just extend arms. Do a few of one and then switch to the other. This concentration is important. Bring all your focus to Ujjayi Pranayama, moving at that pace. Bandha's locked, your core engaged. This is where you find your greatest benefit. Your entire body is working, your entire body is engaged, integrated with the mind, the body, and your spirit. Appreciate the gift you're giving yourself right now. Movement, exercise, toning, strength. It's said that a good breath you hear, a great breath everybody else hears. Make it audible. Give it some texture in and out your nose. Feel how keeping your teeth separated opens the airway, relieves stress. One more to each side. Reset, tabletop. Find a very shallow child's pose. Just take a little break. See how your back's doing so far. Then come back up into tabletop. We're going to go a little deeper, if you will. Keep your hands planted. Extend your right leg straight back. Toes are pointed. Then bend at the knee and point those right toes up at the ceiling. This is the tiger's tail. This is a lot to hold right here. If you'd like to go a little further, you can take away support by reaching this left hand back towards that right foot. It might find it. It might not. If it does, you can bind. Open this left shoulder as much as you'd like and put pressure into this left hand with your right foot. Just half bow. Gives you a little deeper back bend. Gently release. Reset. Tabletop. Point the left toes back. Bend at the knee. Hold right there. Gauge that glute muscle tight. Want to go a little further? You can open this right arm, reach back. Maybe you find the foot. If you do, put pressure into that right hand. Allow the right shoulder to open. And release. Push back into a shallow child's pose. Check in with your back. Sure it's doing okay. You want to push, but within your bounds. Work your way up all the way to kneeling. Your knees are about hip distance apart. From here, extend your right leg out to the right. Plant this left hand on the mat. Reach the right hand high. This is a kneeling side plank. From here, begin to lift and lower the leg. So you inhale, lift, exhale. Drop. One movement, one breath. If the arm raised is too much, you can bring it to your hip. Moving with your breath is too much. Just take a few breaths with the foot down. And when you're ready, then inhale, lift it up. This lateral movement of the hip is important. It's healthy. A typical day, your hip doesn't move in this direction, but it's important to do it every day. Not only are you building strength, you're building flexibility and endurance. The hip is so important to the movement of the lower back. One more here. Plant that right foot, bring the arm down as you push your way up. Bring this right ear towards the right leg. Reach this right hand for the right foot. Inhale, left hand high, gaze follows, and you build in resistance all along the left side. This is gate pose. Paragudasana. Feel all that resistance along the left side. Push into it. It's one of the hidden secrets of yoga. We use the muscle in both directions. Typically contraction, but these muscles along the left side are an extension, flexion. You're building muscle. You're building muscle tone. Healthiest way to use those muscles. So come out, plant this left hand again, this kneeling side plank. You can lift this right leg and hold, or if you'd like to pursue a fallen star, you keep that right foot down and slide this left leg forward and out, reaching back behind you with this right hand, pushing your hips high in a fallen star. It's a beautiful pose. Be expansive. You can keep those bandhas locked, even reaching. Pull everything back in to a kneeling position. I'll reset and go to the other side. Extend the left leg out. Right hand is down on the mat. Inhale. Left hand to the ceiling. Your gaze can be lifted if you'd like. From here, explore the core. Make sure those bandhas are locked. Begin to lift and lower the left leg. Inhale up. Exhale down. One movement, one breath. If this vinyasa movement is too much, you can take a little break. Leave the foot down for a few breaths. When you're ready, inhale, lift it up. Find that range in the hip. You lift until you find that resistance. Take a little break. It's the beauty of vinyasa. Iterative movement allows you to find great gains. One more on this side. Plant that left foot as you push your way up. Bring this left ear down towards the left leg, reaching this left hand towards the left foot. Inhale, right hand high. Gaze follows as you build in resistance all along the right side. Keep pushing into it as you reach. Maintain that resistance on the right side. The knowledge, you're building muscle, you're toning all the muscles in the right side right now. I always think of contraction as being the most important way to use a muscle, but this extension, this flexion is so important. This right hand down, plant it on the mat. Reach this left hand for the sky. You can lift this left leg and hold this kneeling side plank, or pursue fallen star on this side. You plant this left foot, the left leg straight. Straighten your right leg out in front of you, pushing your hips high, reaching back as far as you can with this left hand. Be expansive, open wide, push your hips as high as you can. As you come out, plant your hands at one end of your mat, your feet hip distance apart at the other in a full plank. flat from the top of your head right out your heels. A variation is to be on your elbows, still flat from the top of your head out your heels. Another option is to be on your knees, feet flat, either on your elbows or your hands. But I challenge you to be in this full plank as best you can. Plank has been deemed one of the most beneficial exercises for the human body. Just holding here flat as a board. We're going to do a 1-minute plank. Good thing is, you're already 30 seconds in. Concentrate on breathing as deeply and rhythmically as you can, in and out your nose, with your core as tight as you can make it. Breathing, Ujjayi Pranayama, is energizing your body. Your bandhas, locking it in. Uddiyana Bandha, pulling your belly button. Mula Bandha, engage those abdominal muscles. And simply drop to your knees. Sit back and find a shallow child's pose. Appreciating all of that work. Work your way back up to that kneeling position. We're going to go through Ustrasana, Camel Pose. Camel, we're going to do it half bows. You can do it with your feet flat. That's classic. You can tuck your toes. That brings your heels a little closer. Most importantly, recognize that your hips are square to the front. You want to keep them there this whole time. So if you inhale, your right hand high, gaze follows. Exhale as you reach this left hand back, targeting your left heel. It's just a target, not a goal. This is a half camel right here. Keep those hips square to the front. Keep your breathing deep and oceanic, in and out your nose. And exhale as you reset on your knees. Inhale, your left hand high. Exhale as your right hand targets your right heel. It's just a target, not a goal. Feel those bandhas protecting your back. So important. Breathe rhythmically. Make sure you're not pushing outside your capability. Exhale as you come out. Start to flow side to side. You inhale as you reach in opposite directions. Exhale as you reset. Go to the other side. Inhale and exhale. One movement, one breath. Feel how those bandhas protect you, how your core being engaged gives you confidence in the movement, makes it smooth, allows you to find the greatest gain, the greatest benefits, moving at the pace of your breathing, safest, healthiest, most beneficial pace for you. If you do have a full camel in your practice, you can find it. Allow your head to look back behind you. But I encourage you to be gentle. Listen to your body. It's a pretty intense pose. One more to each side. And reset. Find a very shallow child's pose. Check in with your back. Ensure you're operating within your limits. finding the greatest benefit. As you come up and out, plant your hands under your shoulders, feet hip distance apart in this full plank, and then simply push your hips high. Ardha Mukashvanasana, downward facing dog. You can pedal your heels if you'd like, one side then the other. Let your chest drop between your shoulders. You can find that other Bandha Jalandhara if you want to tuck your chin, look back at your belly button. Even yourself out, let both heels melt down towards the mat. Your deepest expression of Ardha Mukashvanasana, downward facing dog. And walk your hands back to your feet in a forward fold. Let your head hang. Let gravity pull your head down. Another benefit of yoga, your head is below your heart. That doesn't happen in a typical day, and it's good for the cardiovascular system. Continue to breathe deeply and rhythmically, giving that elevated blood flow, added oxygen. Very gently roll up one vertebrae at a time. As you get to the top, you can sweep your arms high, hands together to heart center. An appreciation of all that mat work. Appreciation for standing. All right. We're going to now do some standing half bows. I'm going to turn at an angle so you get a little better view. Yeah. So bend your left leg and find your left foot with your left hand. Just a basic quad stretch. Have your knees together and you notice that your hips are square to the front. You're going to keep them square to the front this entire time. If you want to go deeper, you can bring your hand position to the instep, up and around your toes like a hitchhiker thumb under the ball of your foot. Put pressure into your hand. You can allow this left shoulder to open. If you'd like to counterbalance, you reach this right hand high while putting pressure into your left hand. The left leg lifts straight behind you. Your left arm is the string on the bow. You keep that tension, that pressure in your left arm, your left hand, and the leg naturally lifts straight up behind you. This standing half bow or dancer pose. It's a beautiful pose. Concentrate on breathing deeply and rhythmically. If you fall out, get right back in. Turns out that resilience is a learned and practiced skill. Come out of the pose. Bring your two knees together and gently release back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Go to the other side. I'll turn at an angle. The mountain pose, simply bend that right leg. Capture the right foot with your right hand. Bring your knees together. You can keep this hand position, or more classically, bring the hand around the toes, find the instep, your thumb under the ball of your foot. Extend this left arm as a counterbalance and put pressure to your right hand with your right foot. And the right leg lifts straight behind you. The tendency is to open the hip. The pose is meant to be done with the leg rising straight behind you. Concentrate. Bandha's locked. Ujjayi pranayama. Deep and rhythmic. As you come out, let your two knees come together. Gently release. As you step into mountain pose. That is the full standing part of this routine. So come on back down to your mat, to the floor. We're going to explore some more half bows. Do a fully prone position on your stomach. Actually turn. Keep the orientation the same. Once you're here, have your hands loosely out in front of you. Feet hip distance apart. Bend your left leg so those left toes are pointed up at the ceiling. You can lift that leg here and point those toes even higher at the ceiling. You can, if you'd like, reach back with this left hand and target the left foot. You might find it, you might not. It's important. Keep that thigh lifted up off the mat. You can keep your hands planted. If you find that left foot, push some pressure into your left hand and you find that tension in your left arm, the string on the bow, if you will. That left thigh lifts up off the mat. Be gentle. Listen to your body. Breathe deeply and rhythmically. Very gently bring the thigh down. Release. Reset. Hands gently out in front of you. Feet hip distance apart. Bend the right leg. Right toes pointed up at the ceiling. You can lift the thigh up off the mat. You can reach back with this right hand, target that right foot. Maybe you find it. If you do, put some pressure in your right hand. Let that right shoulder open. Hips are obviously square, down on the mat. If you do have a full bow in your practice, you can reach back with this left hand. I just encourage you to be gentle. Typically when we go into a full bow, the knees spread wide. Kind of a modification that naturally happens. But it really shows that maybe we're pushing a little too much. That's why I like these half bows. Here, let the thigh come down, gently release. Push back into a shallow child's pose. See how your back is feeling right now. From here, have your knees wide, with your big toes touching, arms extended out front. Come forward, rolling on the inside of your kneecaps. Feet together, knees wide, gaze forward. And then roll back on the insides of your kneecaps into a child's pose. Come forward. Scorpion pose, your head lifting back towards your feet towards the back of your head. And roll back. Just roll out your spine. Said that a healthy spine moves fluidly in both directions. If you want to hold in one direction or the other, you certainly can. We did a lot of back work here today. If you did it right, giving yourself great benefit. Flexibility of the spine, the fluidity of the movement, the strength of the muscles. One more here.
Classically, you finish a yoga class on your back in Shavasana. We're going to finish this class with legs up the wall. If you have a wall, you can use it. If you have a chair, you can bend your legs over the chair, an ottoman, really anything to give your legs support. Having your legs above your heart allows them to rejuvenate. If you're going to have legs up the wall, bring your tailbone as close to the wall as you can. If having your tailbone close to the wall is too much, just bring it away a little bit. Give yourself a little angle. You can have your arms wide if you'd like. Flatten your shoulder blades. Once you're set, allow your breathing to return to normal. Allow gravity to take over, pull you down into the earth, drain your legs. You also drain your mind. You do that by bringing your focus to simply observing your body breathing on its own autonomically. At first, it might feel like you're manipulating your breath, but just concentrate on it. Your body knows what to do. It knows how to breathe on its own. Let it. Any thoughts that enter your mind, let them go by simply bringing your attention back to your natural breathing. And just be. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. Otherwise, find a little natural movement. Classically, whether you're in Shavasana or legs up the wall, draw your knees into your chest. Roll to the right side of a fetal position. Keeps the heart on the left side lifted, signifying the rebirth of your practice. Eventually, we'll meet together in a seated position. This practice, done primarily from the mat, is not only meant to explore the range of your back, but also to ground you. If you have big decisions to make today, this might be a good day to do it. You've grounded yourself. The entire practice leads you to the final pose that imprints the practice. And it resets your mind, your body, your spirit, and this feeling of being grounded. Take it with you, appreciate it, the gift you gave yourself. Bring your hands to heart center. The light in me honors the light in you, my friends. Namaste. Have a wonderful day. Hope to see you again next Saturday. Once again, my name is David.